Despite of all the bad things people say about my country, Colombia, in this documentary I will share with you something that made me proud of it. Is our coffee. It's not any coffee, it's Colombian coffee, the best and one of the most expensive ones in the world because of its quality. Here I will show you many aspects you might be interested in, like the history of the coffee in Colombia, all the different methods of harvesting coffee beans, the different stages of the process, all what's necessary for making Colombian coffee the best coffee in the whole world. Everything has a beginning, and do you know how coffee came to Colombia? Coffee was first introduced to Colombia when priests first began arriving from Europe in the mid-16th century. Everything started when Colombian leaders tried to encourage people to grow coffee, but there was a big problem. Coffee takes 5 to 6 years to provide its first crop, so how they will survive during that period of time? So a priest named Francisco Romero came up with one idea. Instead of the usual penance at confession, he told them to plant 3 or 4 coffee trees. The Archbishop of Colombia ordered everyone to use this penance, thinking it was an excellent idea, and it became the general practice. This started Colombia as the world's second largest coffee producing country, built on the penance of his forefathers. After that, Colombia began exporting coffee, and in 1835 exported around 2,500 bags to the US. By 1875, Colombia was now exporting 170,000 bags to USA and Europe. In 1992, export of coffee topped at 17 million bags and are currently around 11 million bags per year. Vietnam has recently taken over from Colombia as the world's second largest coffee producing country, but Colombia's coffee still remains some of the best and most well-known coffee in the world. Colombian coffee is known to be among the best in the world, with a rich, full-bodied and perfectly balanced taste. The rich volcanic soil in the arid mountains of Colombia produce ideal conditions for growing high-quality coffee. Colombian coffees are grown in 2 main regions: the region of Medellin, Armenia and Manizales in the central Colombia are more heavy-bodied, rich in flavor with fine, balanced acidity. The area near Bogotá and Bucaramanga, which is more mountainous in the east, produce an even richer, heavier and less acidic coffee and are the finest of the 2 regions. The 100% of the coffee produced in Colombia needs specific climatic conditions for its production. Coffee is a product originated in the mountains of Eastern Africa, and its cultivation demands particular soil requirements, temperature conditions, atmospheric precipitation, and certain altitude over sea level. The ideal conditions for the cultivation of this species in Colombia are found between the 4,000 feet and 6,000 feet above the sea level, with temperatures between 17 and 23 degrees centigrade with precipitations close to 2,000 millimeters per year, well distributed along the year. Although these conditions are very frequent, it is also possible to produce an outstanding coffee at altitudes of up to 7,500 feet and with different levels of frequency of precipitation. The specific geographic locations of each Colombian coffee growing region determine its particular conditions of availability of water, temperature, solar radiation, and wide regime of coffee cultivation. The central coffee growing region in the country presents dry and rainy periods along the different months, which allow harvesting fresh coffee regularly during the whole year. In most of the coffee growing regions in the country, there is a period of flowering that goes from January to March, another one that goes from July to September. The main harvests in these zones take place between September and December, and there is a secondary harvest denominated mitaka during the second quarter of the year. The main harvest and the mitaka could be alternated in other regions, in accordance with their altitude. Colombia is a country of contrasts, not only geographic, climatic, and natural contrasts, but also cultural, of habits, traditions, beliefs, and ways of life according to the region. Nevertheless, around coffee cultivation, a series of firm beliefs and values have flourished that have a great impact not only on the final quality of 100% Colombian coffee, but on the passion and dedication associated with its cultivation. To start, it would be good to remember that there are more than 563,000 families producing coffee in our country, from the provinces that limit with Ecuador in the south up to those that border the Caribbean Sea in the north. Following, I will present in strict order the production process of Colombian coffee. The first one, gathering of coffee cherries. During this stage, only totally ripe cherries, normally red or yellow, are picked. Green cherries spoil the taste of coffee. This process is performed entirely by hand. Pulping. The same day that berries are gathered, they are subjected to a pulping process, whereby the berry is removed from the bean. Fermentation. During this part of the process, the beans are allowed to rest. Washing. The remains of mucilage left on the bean are removed and sugars are eliminated with fresh water. Drying. After washing, the beans are exposed to the heat of the sun for the humidity to decrease, thus facilitating their conservation. To make transportation easier, the dried beans are then packed in clean sacks made from sisal. Further on, the thin shell of the parchment, called pergamino, is removed from the bean. Roasting. The process comes to an end with the roasting of the coffee. The green bean is subjected to heat source and delicious aroma and flavor are generated.
Esta es la tolva donde llegan las mulas y le vaciamos el café cerebro. Este es el modo donde se le hace el proceso del café, de la esculpadora, la desmiladora y la trituradora. Aquí es donde sube la motobomba el café mojado, cae al escurrimiento y acá lo tiramos al secado. Esta es la última etapa, donde se seca el café, ya va de punto a tipo generación. Por último, esta es la marquesina donde se clasifican las pasillas, corriente, espuma y